can say that again.
They are.
It's like sometimes they look at us as women as their accessory. And
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
No.
Exactly. Accessory is the word.
As some praise the bold move, others criticizing the pic online, questioning whether a black woman could portray the fictional red-headed princess. The hashtag #NotMyAriel quickly trending.
From viral YouTube covers to Grammy nominations, Chloe and Halle seemed like they were living a dream. Two sisters out of Atlanta, discovered by Beyonce herself, signed to her label, and praised as the next big thing in R&B before they were even old enough to rent a car. On the surface, it looked flawless. Polished music videos, magazine spreads, Disney movies, red carpets, the kind of story fans eat up. But behind the spotlight, the pressure was brutal. From the very beginning, the comparisons to Beyonce put a target on their backs. Every move, every song, every look was dissected online, turning natural growth into a storm of criticism and rumors. Chloe was called too much. Halle faced racist backlash, and together, they became proof of how fame twists everything into entertainment. This is the real story of Chloe and Halle, the chaos behind the glow.
Who's who?
Well, I'm Chloe.
I'm Halle.
Chloe and Halle.
Yes.
And you are how old?
I'm 13. And I'm 11.
11, okay.
Yes.
From day one, Chloe and Halle weren't just breaking in, they were already being framed as the chosen ones. Two sisters out of Atlanta, signed under Beyonce's wing, and immediately thrown under the microscope of her legacy. Everything looked spotless from the outside. Viral covers blowing up, a shiny Parkwood deal, cameos in Lemonade, Grammy nods, TV spots, critics raving, all before most people even finished college. But the picture-perfect rollout hid the chaos bubbling under the surface. The pressure kicked in quick. Chloe especially got stuck with the next Beyonce label, and what looked like a compliment on paper felt more like a setup. Every move she made was hyper-analyzed, every slip dragged out. Online, people kept trying to pit her against Halle, twisting normal differences into fake drama. It became less about their actual music and more about whether one sister was about to outshine the other. Even Beyonce's own circle clocked the noise. At one point, her dad Matthew Knowles even brushed off the comparisons, calling them ridiculous. But once the sisters started branching into solo projects, fans acted like it was proof of a breakup. Chloe admitted it felt exposed stepping out without Halle beside her, like her voice didn't carry the same weight alone. Meanwhile, the internet spun the solo rollouts as a slow-motion split, even though the sisters kept doubling down on the fact that they were still locked in together.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about like people pinning y'all against each other and trying to make like blood a competition?
Honestly, it really pisses me off.
Yeah, and it should.
I think out of everything, that's the thing that kind of gets under my skin.
Once Chloe stepped out on her own, the pressure got louder. She dropped Have Mercy and instantly blew up. Booming bass, bold lyrics, Medusa-inspired visuals, the whole internet talking about her. But with the spotlight came the side-eye. Suddenly, fans said she was being too much or trying too hard. The noise really spiked when she posted her sultry take on Minnie Riperton's Lovin' You. Instead of focusing on her voice, critics felt it was inappropriate. She clapped back in her own way, pointing out that if folks couldn't come for her talent, they were just looking for something else. But it was obvious the same things that turned women like Donna Summer into legends were, some argued, being used against her. She was painted as extra, while older icons got celebrated for doing the same. By the time she rapped In Pieces, fans felt the non-stop criticism had clearly taken its toll. Even her acting gigs weren't safe. Her steamy scene in Donald Glover's Swarm set off another round of hot takes online. Instead of her work, some said it was her body on trial. Media outlets even hinted at labels like Black Femme Fatale, which really just underlined how often black women's choices were policed.
It's like sometimes they look at us as women as their accessory. And
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
No.
Exactly. Accessory is the word.
Halle wasn't free from storms either. The moment Disney cast her as Ariel, the internet lost it. Not My Ariel trended worldwide, with critics pretending their issue was loyalty to the cartoon, but many pointed out it was the same old story. Racism in a shiny new disguise. Scholars even tagged it for what it was: misogyny noir, the ugly overlap of racism and misogyny that black women deal with more than anyone.
As some praise the bold move, others criticizing the pic online, questioning whether a black woman could portray the fictional red-headed princess.
Disney didn't flinch when the backlash hit. Halle's audition had, according to reports, left the director in tears. The producer swore no one else came close, and even the CEO gave his stamp after watching her screen test. By the time the premiere rolled around, the message was simple. She wasn't cast as a statement, she was cast because she was Ariel. Halle didn't feed the negativity either. She leaned into gratitude, talked about the resilience of her grandparents, and kept her focus on the joy she saw in little black girls finally spotting themselves in a fairy tale. But while Halle was fighting off racist gatekeeping and Chloe was pushing back against the policing of her sexuality, the bigger backdrop was the machine they were moving through. Their careers had been tied to Parkwood Entertainment and Columbia from day one. On paper, that sounded bulletproof, Beyoncé's mentorship with a major label's backing. In reality, rumor had it cracks were showing. Their second album, Ungodly Hour, should have been the moment that pushed them fully into superstardom. Critics loved it, but fans argued the timing killed its momentum. Delays from social upheaval, then a pandemic wiping out the tours and promo they needed. Instead of arenas, they were performing from living rooms and virtual sets. The artistry was there, but the rollout was doomed by circumstances. When the solo chapters came, the imbalance felt louder. Some fans said Chloe's In Pieces and later Trouble in Paradise came with high-gloss campaigns, flashy videos, award show slots, the whole push. Halle, meanwhile, leaned deeper into acting. She did drop Angel, which grabbed a Grammy nod, but fans couldn't help noticing her rollout felt quieter, like the label was subtly steering her lane away from music. The whispers started. Was Chloe getting the bigger push? Was Halle being rebranded as an actress who happened to sing? And then the contract rumors resurfaced. Reports of a Parkwood Columbia deal worth just $1 million across 6 albums. For artists under Beyoncé's wing, many felt that number sounded shockingly low, raising questions about how much control they really had in the system. Through it all, Beyoncé was still their anchor, teaching them to tune out the noise, pushing them to never shrink their art, drilling confidence alongside discipline. But even her guidance couldn't block out the contradictions of modern fame. For Chloe and Halle, the climb was never just about music, it was about juggling gratitude with pressure, closeness with speculation, critical acclaim with constant backlash, all while trying to stay themselves in an industry built to compare and divide.
Sorry that you got cheated on.
It's all right. Been a couple times. You know, I feel like no
Really?
matter how bad of a you are, sometimes niggas will cheat.
Chloe couldn't breathe without the blogs turning it into a headline. It wasn't that she went chasing drama, people were just obsessed with attaching stories to her. Anytime she stood next to a rapper, the internet spun it into a full-blown romance. Gunna, Future, Quavo, her name kept getting tied to theirs, whether she said a word or not. That whole Gunna thing started after they were spotted at a basketball game laughing courtside. By the next morning, it was new couple alert all over social media. The whispers only got louder when they dropped a song together, but both of them shrugged it off. Didn't matter. Once the gossip machine started, it never stopped. A couple years later, she starred in Praise This with Quavo, and the same cycle repeated. Press appearances turned into dating speculation. Lotto put her on the spot in an interview, and Chloe just brushed it off with a laugh. Still, blogs wouldn't let go. The pattern became clear. Any guy she worked with instantly got turned into her new man. Even loose rumors with Future were enough to light up comment sections. What made it worse was the double standard. If it were a white pop girl, the coverage would have read like she was just having fun. With Chloe, it always leaned negative, as if her work was less important than whatever story fans wanted to project onto her. She said plenty of times she was single and focused on herself, but nobody led with that. The gossip stayed louder than the truth, and her real narrative kept getting drowned out. While Chloe's name floated around on whispers and speculation, Halle's story was written in bold headlines. No guessing games, just very public battles.
The alleged video of Halle putting hands on DDG and the ring footage of DDG going off in front of Halle's house is going to be released in court.
Halle's love story with DDG started out picture perfect. They were the young couple everyone was watching, matching red carpets, TikToks, the whole fairy tale package. For Halle, who was stepping into her Disney princess era, the relationship felt like her official glow up, moving from the sweet younger sister to a woman in love. But not everyone bought into it. Some fans rooted for her happiness, while others side-eyed DDG's messy online history and wondered if he fit the polished image she'd been building. When she quietly welcomed her son, Halo, people had mixed feelings again. Some admired how she kept it private, others nitpicked, but either way it shifted how the world saw her. Suddenly she wasn't just Ariel, she was a young mom. Not long after, DDG hopped online and casually announced their split, calling it friendly and insisting they'd co-parent. Halle didn't say a word. Her silence became the headline, with blogs filling in whatever blanks they wanted. Things turned serious when she filed for a restraining order. The documents laid out allegations of abuse, physical, emotional, even financial, and claimed DDG used his platforms to harass her. The court gave her full custody of Halo and restricted his contact. Overnight, the story switched from gossip to something far heavier. Fans were quick to take sides. Halle's quiet strength won her praise, especially compared to DDG's constant live streams and cryptic posts that felt like a one-man press tour. The whole thing sparked bigger questions. Do stars owe the world details about their private pain, or does silence count as power? And why does it feel like black women's struggles always get twisted into public entertainment? Between the two sisters, it almost looked like a split screen. Chloe kept fending off rumors that tried to turn her artistry into dating drama, while Halle had to fight for her privacy in the middle of a very real legal storm. Different paths, same weight, both showing just how relentless fame could be when the audience was always ready to rewrite your story for you. The spotlight was never just about the music, it came with the weight of perfection stamped on their backs. Two sisters with angelic harmonies, but underneath the glow was the reality of growing up black, young, and constantly measured by impossible standards. Together, their paths showed how the industry and the internet twist the narrative. Chloe claimed her body with confidence and got branded as too much. Halle stepped into history and got met with racism dressed up as protecting tradition. No matter what they did, the world found a way to flip it. At the end of the day, they weren't just artists but young women figuring it out in front of millions. Their flaws, fears, and growth were all put under a magnifying glass that turned every misstep into spectacle. Instead of being allowed to grow, they were forced to perform resilience in a space that rarely gave them the same grace others received.